Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my YouTube family. Give y'all just a minute to come on in. I am Tamara Johnson Sheely. Today is Thursday, March the 4th. And normally, you guys, you don't see me on a Thursday. You hear me with Keeping Up with Congress right here on YouTube, but you don't see me on a Thursday. But I knew I had to come to you live today. I can't shake it. I tossed and I turned. I see you coming on in. I'm going to give you just a few more minutes before I dive in, but just to kind of set the stage here. I tossed and I turned all night. I don't know if I slept a wink because it's heavy. And I don't like when I get like this because I can't shake it. I can't shake it until I get it out, until I say what I have to say. It's in my spirit. It's a stirring in my spirit, and I have to say what I have to say. And I can't shake it until I say it. So come on in, family. I appreciate you joining me today. I know it's your lunch hour. I will not keep you long, but we got to talk about reparations. We got to talk about where we are in this nation, where the conversations are going, where policy is right now. We got to talk about reparations. We have to talk about it, and we got to get serious about it. We're in this new Biden administration, and we can't afford to be rocked back to sleep. We got rid of Donald Trump. That's what a lot of people wanted. Got to get rid of Trump. We got to get rid of Trump. And that was what was the mantra. And that was what people were riding on, rocking with, voted for. He's gone. And now I'm afraid, and I'm disturbed by it all, that we're going to be rocked right back to sleep in this administration. And I'd be damned if that's the right thing that needs to happen. Reparations is a conversation that Georgia has yet to have. This conversation is being had nationally. This conversation has been had for since the 80s with John Conyers when he introduced HR 40. But Georgia has yet to have this kind of conversation. And we don't have to keep talking about why. Slavery, black codes, Jim Crow, redlining, convict leasing, no New Deal, no GI Bill, war on drugs, mass incarceration. We know all the reasons why. And most of us are just a generation 2, 3, 4 removed from it. As young as I am, and I'm in my late 40s, I can tell stories because the stories were told to me. I saw things as a little girl. So slavery and Jim Crow and the segregated South, we're not far removed from it. So we have to have this conversation here in Georgia. And there's legislation, Georgia HB541, House Bill 541. Big shout out to Representative Roger Bruce and his aide, Mr. Rodney Little. I want to say thank you for seeing the vision. Thank you for introducing this legislation. Thank you here in Georgia. But I'm going to dive in. I'm going to share my screen because I want you to know this conversation is bigger than us here in Georgia. But we have to have this conversation right here and right now. And we have to push. Because Black people, we know it. We're on our last leg. The data shows that by 2053, Black America will have zero net wealth. COVID-19 has totally sped that up. We're on a not even a race to the bottom. We're already on the bottom. And it's not going to get any better for us. They talk about affordable housing, these buzzwords. How about home ownership? Pay us what you owe us. It's a debt. Reparations is a debt owed. So I'm going to share my screen before I get too far off. I tell you, I didn't sleep much. But let's go over HR 40. for those that don't know. H.R. 40, of course, is a bill that's been introduced since the 80s, with John Conyers. He has since passed away. God bless his soul. H.R. 40, Commission to Study and Develop Reparations Proposal for African Americans Act. It is in Congress, now being sponsored by Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat out of Texas. We know the bill. We've been following the hearings. But there's also Senate Bill 40 that's been introduced by Senator Cory Booker. Same bill, Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposal for African Americans Act. Now, here's the caveat. Georgia just delivered the Senate with the races of Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. Let's take a look at these co-sponsors on this legislation. Senator Durbin out of Illinois, Feinstein out of California, Senator Coons out of Delaware, Haruno out of Hawaii, Sanders out of Vermont, Senator Duckworth out of Illinois, Markey out of Massachusetts, Mark Lee out of Oregon, Whitehouse, Rhode Island, Senator Klobuchar out of Minnesota, Senator Elizabeth Warren out of Massachusetts, Senator Casey, Pennsylvania, Senator Murray, Washington State, Senator Blumenthal, Connecticut, Senator Kaine, Virginia, Senator Gillibrand, New York, Senator Brown, Ohio. Where is Jon Ossoff and where is Raphael Warnock? Senate Bill 40, reparations in Congress. Black voters delivered here in the great state of Georgia. Where's Senator Raphael Warnock? Where's Senator Jon Ossoff? Keeping our eyes on Congress, y'all. But let's move forward. California has already introduced a bill in the state of California and passed a bill. California passes, come on now. It wants me to read the top of this. A first of its kind law to consider reparations for slavery. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill establishing a task force to study and make recommendations on reparations for slavery. Bill HB541, the first of its kind in any state. It creates a 9-member task force that will inform Californians about slavery and explore ways the state might provide reparations, the state of California. The task force will convene in the wake of a nationwide protest calling for racial justice and police reform following the death of George Floyd while in police custody back in May. As a nation, this is Governor Gavin Newsom. He says, as a nation, we can only truly thrive when every one of us has the opportunity to thrive. Our painful history of slavery has evolved into structural racism and bias built into permitting throughout our democratic and economic institutions. This is the state of California. Goes on to talk about the city of Asheville in North Carolina that unanimously approved a reparations resolution for Black residents in July, formally apologizing for the role it played in slavery and implementing racist policies. My phone would ring, y'all. Sorry about that. Asheville, North Carolina. It'll stop, y'all. Asheville, North Carolina. We'll talk about what's going on in Asheville. Let me get back to this article. Reparations for slavery. Is Asheville a national model? Atlanta, the Black Mecca, have some high expectations. Asheville, North Carolina did it. Goes on to say, this is an article from July, more than 150 years after emancipation. The city council in Asheville, North Carolina voted to remove a Confederate monument erected on the site of local slave auctions and pay financial restitution to African American residents. I'm going to make this bigger, y'all, so you can see it. It goes on to talk about Asheville City Council voted unanimously to formally apologize for slavery and promise new investments in Black home ownership and business opportunity. It's the first municipal government in the South and only the second in the country to enact financial reparations. Asheville, North Carolina. Virginia. Reparations bill targets 5 Virginia schools with the history of slavery. 5 public colleges in Virginia with ties to slavery, and this was already voted for. They are forced to pay reparations in the House and one of their legislatures, forced to pay reparations under legislation that passed Thursday in the Virginia House of Delegates. Yes, the schools, which were built before 1865 and maintained by slaves, included the University of Virginia, Virginia Commonwealth University, Virginia Military Institute, the College of William and Mary, and Longwood University. Goes on to say this is an opportunity for these universities to give back. They owe their foundational success to the enslaved labor who helped build and run the institution in their earlier days. That's Virginia. Evanston, Illinois, the city becomes the first in the nation to offer reparations to Black Americans. Evanston, Illinois has become the first city in the country to fund reparations in an effort to compensate Black Americans for the loss of generational wealth due to the inequality and systemic racist policies that emerged after the era of slavery. Evanston, Illinois. Georgia, there are no excuses. St. Paul, Minnesota. St. Paul, Minnesota, to form a reparations commission. It's called St. Paul City Council passed a resolution calling for the creation of a reparations commission to help the city address equality and wealth disparities faced by the city's Black residents. St. Paul's reparations efforts are inspired by similar endeavors in Evanston, Illinois, and Asheville, North Carolina, which call for a range of investments in areas where Black residents experience inequalities like housing and education. The commission will be responsible for exploring different reparation opportunities, including potential investments into mental health, education, and housing, in addition to addressing police brutality. According to St. Paul Recovery Act and Reparations Steering Committee, the co-chair is Traherne Cruz. We actually had him on our Saturday broadcast. He and another gentleman a few Saturdays back is actually on my YouTube channel right here. So this is not new, Georgia. Amherst, Massachusetts. We had them on just last week. Amherst is on a path toward providing reparations to Black residents for past injustices following the town's council unanimous adoption of a resolution calling for the community to become an anti-racist town. Goes on to say Amherst is committed to engaging in a path of remedy for Black Amherst residents who have been injured or harmed by discrimination and racial justice. Ahmaud, Kendrick Johnson, Jamarion Robinson. We have our own issues right here in the state of Georgia. We cannot ignore it. HB541, Equity and Fairness Commission Act, right here in the great state of Georgia. Let's look at this bill, because I don't believe many of you will actually go through and read it. So we're going to look at it together today. House Bill 541, the Georgia Equity and Fairness Commission Act, was sponsored by Representative Roger Bruce. Shout out, thank you, sir, for introducing this legislation. There's 5 co-signers: Representative James Beverly, Representative William Bodie, Representative Derek Jackson, Representative Erica Thomas, and Representative Deborah Bazemore. They put their names on this bill. They're willing to fight for this legislation right here in Georgia. The act shall be known and may be cited as the Georgia Equity and Fairness Commission Act. Millions of Africans and their descendants were enslaved in the 13 American colonies and the United States, including Georgia colony and the state of Georgia from 1619 through 1865. The institution of slavery was constitutionally and statutorily sanctioned by the United States government from 1789 to 1865. The slavery that flourished in the Georgia and the United States constitute an immoral and inhumane deprivation of each African's life, liberty, African citizenship, rights, and cultural heritage, and denied them the fruits of their own labor. A preponderance of scholarly, legal community, evidentiary documentation, and popular culture markers constitute the basis for inquiry into the ongoing effects of the institution of slavery and its legacy of persistent systemic structures of discrimination on living African Americans and society in the Georgia and the United States. And following the abolition of slavery, governments and the federal, state, and local levels continued to perpetuate, condone, and often profit from practices that continue to brutalize and disadvantage African Americans, including sharecropping, convict leasing, Jim Crow, redlining, unequal education, and disproportionate treatment at the hands of the criminal justice system. And as a result of the historic and continued discrimination, African Americans continue to suffer debilitating economic, educational, and health hardships, including having nearly 1 million Black people incarcerated, an employment rate more than twice the current white unemployment rate, and an average of less than 1/16 of the wealth of white families, a disparity which has worsened, not improved over time. So this bill goes on. I want to read a particular part of it here about the commission and why this is phenomenal legislation. The commission will compose of 11 members who are citizens of this state and shall be appointed as follows. 3 members appointed by the governor. Let me say that again. 3 members appointed by the governor, one of whom the governor shall select as chairperson. This is a gift to the Republican Party, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. 2 members appointed by the president of the Senate, 2 members appointed by the minority leader of the Senate, 2 members appointed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and 2 members appointed by the minority leader of the House of Representatives. So 7 of the 11 will be appointed because Georgia is a trifecta. That means we have a House and the Senate and the governor is Republican. So 7 of these 11 members will be appointed by Republican leadership. The other 4 will be Democratic leadership. Again, this is a gift to the Republicans. All members shall be appointed. Here's the line that Representative Bruce was making sure that we all saw on our broadcast a couple of weeks back. It said, all members shall be appointed from persons recommended by organizations concerned with the issues of civil rights, human rights, racial, social, and economic justice and equality, reparations, and or other issues concerning the African American community. So the rest of the bill goes on to talk about how the commission will actually be structured and work. But here is the gift. Next year, 2022, this is the governorship, the race for governor will be happening here in Georgia. Right? Let me stop sharing my screen. I think I'm gonna come back on. Let me put this to the side. The race for governor will happen again in 2022. There's a split. There's some divide inside the Republican Party. There's a divide inside the Democratic Party. And guess who's at the root of this divide on the Democratic side? It's us. It's Black people making demands. The Republicans are fighting amongst themselves. You got the establishment versus the Trump Republicans. They have split. We need Brian Kemp to pay attention to this legislation right here, right now. I got word that Monday is crossover day. Brian Kemp, Black people in Georgia are asking you to support HB541. Stacey Abrams, Black people in Georgia are asking you to support HB541. Let's play politics, y'all. We have this thing, where we vote blue no matter who, to our own peril. It's not about party lines. And we got to get beyond that. Yes, I am a Democrat. And yes, I run as a Democrat, but I'm an independent Democrat. Make sure you go run tell that. I am very much so independent in my thinking. It's about policy. So we need whoever decides that they're going to run for governor, Brian Kemp, if you're going to run again, we need you to pay attention to HB 541. Stacey Abrams, if you're going to run, we need you to pay attention to HB 541. Somebody or both of you had better support HB 541. This is a gift. Get it right with Black Georgians. Reparations is a debt. This bill honestly doesn't even have a whole lot of teeth in it. It starts the conversation. It creates the commission. It measures the impact of chattel slavery here in Georgia. It measures the impact. Let's start the conversation. Set the table. Set the table. So that we can create some policy that will remedy what's happening to those of us who are descendants of slavery here in this state. Set the table. This is not a new conversation. I just showed you HR 40 has been introduced since the 80s. Cory Booker has introduced Senate Bill 40 that Senator Raphael Warnock and neither Senator Jon Ossoff have put their names on. And how dare we allow them to sit back and not support that legislation in Congress. We got work to do, Georgia. I'm not going to carry this on my back. I ran a strong campaign where I talked about reparations very boldly. I came in, 5th place? Yeah. 5th, 6th place with 107,000 votes. Talking about reparations. This bill studies the impact of chattel slavery on those of us who are descendants in the state of Georgia. Other states have gone, California has gone further. We have cities that have gone further. This is a conversation that has started right here in Georgia. I will need your support. I am not going to do this alone. I ran, but we have to do this collectively. This becomes an effort where we have to come together. We need a digital platform that can help us target these legislators. I've already been invited, y'all, into some of these GOP spaces to talk about this bill. I'm going to go, but I'm not going to go if y'all not going to help me go. Like, we have to do this together. This is a collective effort We need a digital platform. We need a petition, and we need to target these legislators, and we need to force the conversation. I'm going to read some of the comments because I know I wanted to make this as a discussion. I didn't want to just get on my soapbox. Hey, Erla, she said, why isn't reparation being addressed on a federal level? It is. Senate Bill 40, Cory Booker's bill, and HR 40, Sheila Jackson Lee over in the House. So it actually is being addressed on a federal level. Another question in the, what did she say? We need Kim to help us now. Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. We need Brian Kemp to pay attention to this legislation right here and right now. He says, are Ossoff and Warnock at least talking about this bill? Have you heard them talk about it, Mr. Reed? Because I haven't. And I pay attention. What other questions, comments we have? Thank you. Be the power. I appreciate you, brothers. I appreciate you. This is, this new black media, y'all, is the truth. Be the power. I appreciate you, brothers. She said, exactly what do you need from us? I need you to go to the website and I need you to donate. We have to get a digital platform that will allow us to target and run a digital campaign to make this bill, to force this conversation. So I need you to go to the website and donate. I need you to share this on in your social media. He says Black people should be rolling up deep into those GOP spaces with you. Absolutely. They're not scary. Not all Democrats are good and not all Republicans are bad. Not all of them are racist. So yeah, I hope that y'all will roll up into some of these GOP spaces with me. But I wanted to come to you today and I didn't want to take more than 30 minutes. Y'all know how I am. I like to just bring it and have the conversation. But you know what? We're at a place and a space in history where, the Democratic policies have just allowed us to survive. They're just allowing us to survive. I want us to have Republican problems. This is something that came to me in my spirit last night. I want us to have Republican problems where they're trying to figure out how to keep their money and how to make their money make money. That's the kind of problems I like to see us have. I'm tired of us. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't want no more social programs. Cut the check. Pay your debt, America. Give us what you owe us because we know how to do this. We know how to do this. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. Please go to the website. Georgia HB541 is HB541.net. That's HB541.net. Go to the website, donate, spread the word. This is not something that I can do alone. I don't have any intentions on doing this by myself. It will take all of us collectively. It will take all of us collectively here in Georgia. This is phenomenal legislation. This is phenomenal legislation. So I'm going to go. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Spread the word. I will see you tonight with Keeping Up with Congress, where I come to you live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 7:30, where we pay attention to what is happening in policy in these bills that are coming down the pike in the House and in the Senate. We paying attention. No more do we go to the polls, and that's what we keep doing, going to the polls, giving this vote away for free. I call it the pimp game. We keep giving it away for free, and we're getting nothing. Now it's time for tangibles. This is this generation and the generation, my generation and younger. We're not just going to just show up and just do what the older generation does. Just show up and vote blue no matter who. We're not. We won't vote. We'll skip names on the ballot like I do. I'll skip it. I'll write in something else. Everybody don't get my vote. It's too valuable. So when I talk about withhold the vote, many people wanted to demonize it and make it something that it wasn't. Withhold the vote said, don't give it away for free. Everybody don't deserve that vote. So don't give it away to any and everybody. Holding these elected officials accountable, holding these candidates accountable to what they say is what we have to do. And that's strategic. That's the strategic part that we haven't been taught how to vote strategically. We just go vote, just vote, just vote. No, everybody don't deserve your vote. Show them. Show them. You don't do what we ask or what we demand, you don't get this vote. It's that simple. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. Please go to the website. Please go to the website, HB541. I'm about to put it on the screen just so you'll have it, because sometimes I'm very visual. I have to see it. HB541.net. Let me put it on the screen for you. HB541.net. Donate, participate. Let's get this legislation pushed and passed and talked about in the Georgia legislature. Monday is crossover day. Monday is crossover day. If it doesn't cross over, Georgia has a 2-year legislative cycle. That means we got until next year. And we can if we have to, we're going to ride their necks from now until 2022. Let's get this legislation passed. Let's start having the conversation right here in the great state of Georgia. Georgia has a history that it doesn't want to reckon with. But we have to force it. And we have to get what we're owed. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I will see you tonight on Keeping Up with Congress, y'all, at 7 p.m. right here on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of your day.